The Ottawa Senators Foundation empowers children and youth to reach their full potential by investing in social recreation and education programs that promote both physical and mental wellness.
It's a chance for them to be a part of a team and experience ice hockey and have the support of the Senators Foundation. So grateful and so thankful.
The Senators Foundation is committed to ensuring that kids are given the opportunity to be active, engaged, and to feel good about themselves.
One team, one community, one goal.
Helping families find the strength to deal with whatever life has in store.
The Ottawa Senators Foundation gives me community.
One team, one community, one goal.
Brady Tkachuk and Josh Norris all smiles as they arrive to the arena ahead of their game against the Vancouver Canucks. But they're not just smiling because it's game day. They're smiling because they know with your help, no matter the score at the end of the game, we're all going to walk away winners. Yes, because it is the 2020 Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon powered by Mitel. We've got our operators standing by, eager to talk to you. You might recognize some of them. Some of them might have, I don't know, their number up in the rafters. Nonetheless, they are waiting to talk to you, so please get involved as we welcome you inside the Canadian Tire Center. Hello, everyone. I'm Tessa Bonham. It's truly an honor to be here again to host the Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon powered by Mitel. We've got a wonderful evening set up for you. Now, last year, the foundation reached over 60,000 kids with programming, so it just goes to show what impact, a positive impact you can have on your community by simply picking up your phone. I know you all got one and I know it's nearby. Now you're probably wondering, okay, I saw the operator standing by, eager to talk to me. Tessa, I've got my phone in my hand. How do I do it? Well, that's why we got one of my favorite teammates standing by, Ian Mendez, to explain to you exactly how to get involved. Over to you, Ian.
Thank you very much, Tessa. A real honor for me to be involved in this. I think it's been about 10, 11 years that I've been involved in the Sens Foundation Telethon. So you're always going to see compelling and moving stories over the course of the hour. We hope that you get compelled to pick up your phones, as you mentioned, Tessa, and donate. So how do you do that? How do we put the likes of Chris Phillips and Todd White and the CEO, Jim Little, how do we put them to work? Well, here's what you do. If you want to give them a phone call here, there's the phone number, 1-844-8-GO-SENS. That's the phone number. You can also do this online. If you don't want to talk to Chris Phillips, that's okay too. You can text the word SENS to 45678 to donate $10, or the phrase Go Sens to that same number, 45678, to donate $20. You can also go to sensfoundation.com. Now, here's what we're going to do to incentivize it for you. Check this out. For a $100 donation tonight, you can have an autographed puck from a member of the Ottawa Senators. And if you go all the way up to $1,500, and note there's a limited quantity on this, how about a personalized message from an Ottawa Senator, so a video greeting or something like that for your kid's birthday? How cool would that be? So there's all the incentives that we had for you. As Tessa mentioned, we got a great team here. We're very pleased to introduce Christy Bezaire to the team. Very great to have you on board, Christy. Now, for those people who don't know, Christy just happens to be married to DJ Smith. So I think, Christy, you're the only one who can really, truly be honest with DJ Smith on TSN, but that's okay. We're so excited to have you on board, and you're a terrific broadcaster. Over to you.
Well, Ian, such a pleasure to be with you and Tessa tonight, some of the best in the business. And yes, that's true. DJ is my husband. I don't always talk about that part, but he is very, very proud that we are part of the Ottawa Senators Foundation as well. And Danielle Robinson is the president and CEO. And Danielle, one of the things that DJ and I were so moved by is just how far-reaching the Senators Foundation work is in the community. I think some people will be shocked to learn just how much the foundation is involved in.
Yeah, you know, we're very lucky here at the Ottawa Senators Hockey Club that leadership really does start at the top. And, you know, I've been here now 14 years, and this kind of work's been going on well before my time. So we try and do as much as we can, but we do that in partnership with our city and our fans. So tonight's about educating folks of what their money's doing, and hopefully they'll continue to give more.
Last year alone, the foundation reached 60,000 kids. How was that possible?
Because of our fans and because of generous donors. So people giving to our 50/50, attending our events, and making philanthropic donations to us. So we're so lucky to live in the national and work in the National Capital Region. People are super generous here.
One of the things the foundation does is help break down barriers when it comes to equipment costs, when it comes to registration costs. What are the outcomes of those investments?
You know, when you give a child an opportunity to play a sport when they perhaps don't have the financial means to do so, they learn about leadership, teamwork. They're off their devices and they're getting that minimum amount of 60 minutes of physical fitness, which is so important for even learning outcomes.
Danielle, thank you so much, and I'm so excited to see the stories that we're going to air tonight. People are going to get a real sense of what the foundation does.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Christy.
I'll send it back to Tessa.
Thank you, Christy. Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, still to come. We will meet a mother whose daughter has been given the opportunity to play sports through the Sens Power Plays program.
It's a responsibility we have. We're lucky enough to be in the position we're in. There's people that have tough lives. There's people that have been dealt tough blows that need help, whether it's just time or whether it's donations or what have you. And that's what makes a strong community, is that we include everyone, and it's not just the people that are doing well at the top and the other people struggling. We try and help as many people as possible.
I'm Brady. Nice to meet you.
Yes, that's what tonight is all about, helping people, helping out the Ottawa community. We want to see each and every one of these operators busy, people, because we've got a lot of things to do. We're going to share our first story with you this evening. Now, sports provides so many young people with the opportunity to learn life skills that they'll end up using for the rest of their lives. Things like sportsmanship, teamwork, and general fitness. Sports has the power to change lives, but some families find it very difficult to cover the cost to participate. That's exactly where the Senators Foundation and the Sens Power Plays program comes in.
Butterflies in my stomach because I always start the game, but at the same time I just can't wait to get on, let everything out, enjoy the game, get everything off my mind, and just be free and not have to worry about anything else except the game.
Danya is very active. She has always been from a young age. And so I've invested everything that I have to put her in sports and keep her busy with sports. It's a lot of work, so you have to be sometimes in 2-3 places at once, but you make it work.
I would describe her as a very loving person, and she's very caring, and she's open-minded towards everything and everyone, and she just loves to help people.
2 hands can move a mountain, 2 more and you can move the earth. Believe, and it feels light as a feather.
It's rewarding, definitely rewarding. It takes a village to raise a kid, I always say that. That village is the Sens Foundation, her coaches, the soccer club itself, the Ottawa Internationals, they're great.
It teaches you leadership. It helps you. It helps you stay away from the bad stuff in life. It helps you stay active, healthy. It has a lot of pros.
She motivates me to be a better person because she's an amazing person, great personality, hardworking. She has so many great qualities, really. I look up to her sometimes.
It's amazing to have opportunities like that help you succeed, because all kids should be able to play a sport, whether with their parents' help or with other programs' help. It's like a wonderful thing.
We are so pleased to have Miriam and Danya here in studio with us. Ladies, thank you so much. Your story, so inspiring. Miriam, in that clip you said you invested everything for Danya to be able to play sports. Why was that so important to you? Was that something driven by Danya, or did you just know as a mom this is what she needed?
I knew from a very young age that that's what she needed. It gives her leadership skills. She's been doing, She needs to play sports. It really keeps her out of trouble, and yeah. Not that she's a good girl, but
I can tell.
It's helped her leadership skills.
And Danya, captain 2 years in a row.
Yes.
What does it take to be a captain?
It takes a lot of leadership, and you have to work up to be able to become a captain. You need to earn that title.
What have you gotten out of playing soccer?
I've gotten taught a lot of life lessons, what it's like to be able to help people who maybe aren't skilled. It comes with a lot of pros.
And to be a part of the program, you had to give back as well.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you did.
So by giving back, I volunteered at a ball hockey tournament, and I helped out with lunches. I helped organize the sports.
How did you feel doing that?
It felt really good because I knew that I was helping other kids, and yeah.
Miriam, when you see your daughter out there, captain of her team, on the field, doing her thing, what does that mean to you?
It makes me very proud. It lets me know that all the hard work has paid off. And to see her grow into a young woman.
And she certainly has. And what does it mean to you knowing that the Senators help not just you, but hundreds of kids just like you, Danya?
It makes me really appreciate them because not everyone has an opportunity to play a sport, but with their help, it helps a lot.
Well, so proud of what you guys are doing. Keep it up. And thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your story.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw it back to Ian.
Thank you very much, Christy. We're going to start our first power play of the evening. That's where we're going to put 2 minutes up on the clock here, and the folks at Canadian Tire are going to match donations during this time. And very pleased to be joined by Dustin Bursey, regional or district manager, right? District manager with Canadian Tire. And hey, we're at the Canadian Tire Center, so it's pretty easy for a lot of people to realize the partnership. But maybe you can expand on that, the partnership between the Ottawa Senators and Canadian Tire.
Sure. Well, thanks, Ian. Canadian Tire and the Senators have been partners for several years now. And we support their foundation by providing kids the opportunity to learn sport, to be healthy, and to encourage active play. And it's really all about partnership. It's about working together to build stronger communities.
And I think when you talk about communities, what's really cool, Dustin, is that it's not just Ottawa. I mean, obviously that's our focus here is Ottawa, but if you go coast to coast, whether you're in British Columbia or out in the Maritimes, why is Canadian Tire so committed to getting involved in every community in Canada?
Well, for nearly 100 years, Canadian Tire has proudly supported communities across this country, both where we work and live. And whether that's through one of our stores donating to a local fundraiser or sponsoring a local team. We've got 500 stores across our network that are actively involved, and we really want to demonstrate that this is a grassroots program that we're trying to enhance across this nation.
And as you take a look at it, we got about 40 seconds to go in the power play. Again, Canadian Tire is going to match donations until this power play runs out, and we just saw a great story about getting young people engaged in sports, and that's really one of the mandates too, isn't it, Dustin, when it comes to Canadian Tire?
That's right. And for kids, opportunities to get active, it moves beyond just the sport itself. As you know, these types of programs encourage resiliency in children. It helps them learn new skills. It helps them with their self-esteem and to promote growth in their lives. So the impact is far-reaching, and we're so thankful to be a part of it.
Well, I think everyone is really, really proud of what the work that you do in communities here in Canada. Dustin Bursey with Canadian Tire, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for being a part of the Sens Foundation Telethon.
Thank you, Ian.
All right, so there we go. Let's see if we can get to Jim Little. I don't know if he's on the phone right now. He's on the phone right now. Well, that's a good thing that Jim Little's on the phone. Todd White, he's on the phone. What about Chris Phillips? He's on the phone. My goodness, everyone's on the phone. Well, that's a good thing. But maybe we'll tell you about the incentives right now, the incentives that you have if you are making Chris Phillips and Todd White and Jim Little work. Here's the deal. If you donate $100, you can get an autographed puck. $250, you get an autograph player 8x10. Or how about this for $1,500, Tessa? You can end up with a personalized message from a member of the Ottawa Senators. But again, a limited quantity there. So that's all the incentives here. And once again, 1-844-8-GO-SENS is the phone number. Tessa.
Thank you very much, Ian. Molly and her daughter Diana found a community through the Sens Foundation. We will hear their story when we come back.
It's a great community, and it's so tight, and everybody kind of knows one another and has a connection with one another. It's hopefully home for a while, so I think it's a huge part to be a part of the community right from day one.
Tkachuk in, shoots, scores! Brady Tkachuk ties it up!
The Ottawa Senators Foundation is just huge for our team, and you can just see the impact the foundation has within the community.
As we welcome you back to the 2020 Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon powered by Mitel. Now, we all know the transition into adulthood can be a difficult one, but for many youth in Ottawa, that transition can be a little bit more difficult because of things like mental illness, drug use, or even homelessness. Well, the Youth Service Board of Ottawa and the Ottawa Senators Foundation came together and built the Youth Hub, a building that provides community for its residents that they can lean on.
Diane, she is 10 months old. When she gets comfortable in a space, I find she takes over it. It's kind of like it's mine. You can't touch it, like back away. She's a very independent little, I say, superwoman.
These are the moments that make motherhood so special. But for 20-year-old Molly, the journey here has had its challenges.
At 16, I moved out of home because I got addicted to drugs. So I kind of went down that path. I was kind of just like looking for my next fix. So whoever had my next kind of fix idea was where either I could stay or that's just what's made me happy, really.
Molly soon found herself with a newborn and without a place to live. This is where the newly constructed Youth Hub came into her life.
What we're doing here is we're providing housing to youth who have found themselves in a situation where they're no longer able to reside at home. Each one of these units, they are renting an apartment as anyone else would. The units are subsidized, but they also come with supports. We have a team of 11 case managers who actually assist with those transitions into adulthood.
I know if I ever have any issues or just a random question, like I can come and ask them comfortably. Versus when I was 16, like I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't trust people.
Molly's goals are her own. Her goals are not something that we set for her, so she genuinely has set this as something she's looking to accomplish for herself. Because this is not the final destination, this is just one stop on the way to that transition into adulthood. Hey Molly, how are you?
Hey, you Mike?
Good, how are things?
I'm really good. I just started school, so stressful.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you taking in school right now?
Early childhood education.
Oh nice. Where are you doing it?
Algonquin.
Not only have we seen her grow in terms of the goals that she's looking to achieve, but we've actually been able to see her make this space her own.
It was so great just to be like, look, I can make my own space for her. Like I can start my own life here with her and have her grow up knowing like, hey, like if mom can do it, so can I. It was one little blip in our life and now we can start like a new chapter.
We can't wait to see how she continues to progress. Getting back into post-secondary is an amazing opportunity that I think she'll really be able to kind of leverage the rest of her life.
To know that people are more concerned about youth being homeless in Ottawa is really prideful for me because it helps a lot of youth like in my situation get off the street, become more confident in themselves to better themselves in the future.
Big thanks to Molly for sharing that story. Just another reason why we all need to pick up our phones and donate. For the most part, our operators have been pretty busy. Kudos to all of you. Thank you for taking part and being involved. But we're not done yet. We've got a lot of time left. Let's head down to Christy.
Tessa, thank you so much. And I'm joined with Mike and Molly now. And Molly and I were just talking about the fact that there is still a stigma sometimes around sharing stories like this, but how important it is because it does encourage others who are in a similar situation to get help.
Yeah, growing up, I always looked up to people who could speak out about it because it's really a hardship while you're in it. And when you're in kind of that drug state and you're homeless, a lot of people look down on you and don't understand how hard it is to find the housing to get out of all that. So it is kind of my, I guess you could say, like my own thing to talk about it. So others who are in that kind of dark tunnel trying to look for that light, like they can find a light and know it will get better down the road too.
Well, you are a light, so thank you for that. What made you decide to change?
I I guess being pregnant with my daughter really changed it all for me, because I was just such in a dark path and state, and I don't know where I would have been without her, to be honest. I probably would have still been in that rough patch in my life, doing things that, when I look back now, weren't so great. So she was kind of my light.
And she's so beautiful, my gosh. Mike, I want to bring you in.
Yeah, for sure.
Youth Hub is a place that it's transitional housing, but it's a lot more than that. There's a lot more services that are offered. Tell us about what you guys do.
Yeah, it's actually permanent housing. So Molly can live there basically as long as she needs to kind of progress on to the next steps of her life. And the really cool thing about it is at the ground floor, it is more than just housing. We also have a hub in there that has services as well. So we have our mental health services that are based out of there. So it really means that people have kind of like a quick access to the services that they need.
And we're watching Nick Paul on the screen here helping out, and you get some special visitors from time to time like that. What does the Ottawa Senators funding help with?
Well, it's actually really helped us kind of realize this dream. This is something that's been in the works for a bit, and kind of the donations that we're able to get are really what made Riverside possible, to be able to be built and to be able to have that hub in there to really offer that space for quick connections into service.
And Molly, as a mom now with baby Diane almost a year old, it must be such a relief not having to worry about where you're going to go.
Yeah, because with a shelter you have like 8 months, and then if you didn't get housing, you have another shelter. So to come to the Youth Hub and find housing, it's kind of that relief of like, okay, like I'm going to be living in shelters, or I'm going to have permanent housing to build my home with.
And we know now that the future is bright for you, so thank you guys so much. We appreciate you being here. I'm going to pass it over to Ian.
Christy, thank you very much. What an uplifting story there with Molly and Mike. And I think uplifting is the operative word, because we got the GM of Lift Ottawa here is with us. Rob Woodbridge is with us, and we're going to put the 2 minutes on the clock. It's a power play, and our good friends over at Lift are going to be sponsoring this. So for the next 2 minutes, whenever you get the opportunity to phone in and text in and give us the call right now, they're going to match your donations at Lyft. I got to say, Rob, this is the classic Lyft night, isn't it? If ever, with the weather being like this, is a perfect night to use Lyft, isn't it?
This is the night. If there ever was a night to use Lyft, this is it, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the partnership here and why it's important for Lyft Ottawa to be involved in the community here.
Well, it's born and bred in our DNA to be a part of the community from the very beginning, from the founders on down. And in every city that we operate in, it is part of it. Like a perfect example, we just launched in Vancouver a month ago, but we've been there for 3 years leading up to that, working with the city, working with the province, and then working with the partners. And here in Ottawa, I got to tell you, we have been involved with not only the Sens Foundation, but we shuttle people to grocery stores. We subsidize rides to get people to grocery stores. We subsidize people to get to their first job interviews. When the flood hit last spring in Ottawa, we were right there to offer assistance rides. We've always been a part of this community. It's important.
So we're under a minute to go here. And again, Lyft Ottawa is going to be matching all donations here until the power play runs out. Rob, why in particular, you talked about all these community initiatives that you've been involved with. Why in particular the Ottawa Senators Foundation for Lyft?
Well, I'm an Ottawa guy, born, bred, lived here my entire life. Huge Senators fan, obviously. And I think that the importance of what the Sens Foundation does to the community is unsurpassed. $110 million distributed since its inception. It's an unbelievably focused organization on helping youth get out and get physical, get the mental activities that they need.
And as we wrap up here, just a quick thought on why it's important to remove some of those barriers, whether it's cost, transportation, etc., to get kids involved in sports. Why is that important to Lyft?
Well, it's at our core, obviously, is actually enabling transportation, is a safe and reliable choice to be able to get somewhere, and that's what Lyft's core is about.
Rob, thanks for this, and thanks for the support from Lyft.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks, Ian.
All right, Tessa, and he's not joking. He's such a big Senators fan. He was at the first ever game at the Civic Center when Neil Brady scored the first ever goal for the Ottawa Senators.
No way, that's awesome. Well, I hope everyone's taken advantage of those power plays. These gentlemen are going to want to. Josh Norris playing his second NHL game as we welcome back Bobby Ryan, his first game back at home in a long time, since November as well. Marcus Högberg set to take the ice for warm-ups ahead of their tilt against the Vancouver Canucks tonight.
You know, I was involved in a lot of sports growing up, and you know, a big lesson I learned from me was teamwork, and it's pretty valuable that I use nowadays away from the rink. You know, whether I'm trying to solve a problem or something like that with my family, and you know, we come together, and from a young age I was able to see how other kids did that, and it was pretty special. One team, one community, one goal.
Just moments ago, the Ottawa Senators took the ice for warm-ups as they get set to take on the Vancouver Canucks on Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon night, powered by Mitel. We're going to welcome in another one of our teammates who's here to make this a special evening with us tonight. That's Brent Wallace, who's standing by with Thomas Shabbat.
Thomas, today, DJ Smith talked about this being like tryouts for the final 18 games for a lot of guys. Obviously not for you. So what do you try to accomplish here down the stretch?
I mean, I think DJ said it right. I think it's a chance for a lot of guys to get more chances and get put in places that maybe they wouldn't have been. And I think everybody's going to try and kind of take advantage of it and make the best out of it.
We talk a lot about your ice time. You played over 32 minutes the last 2 games, lead the league in ice time. I'm curious what it's like when your ice time isn't that high and you only play like 23 or 25 minutes a night.
Yeah, it's always a little weird coming back from a over 30-minute game, but I mean, I always said it, and you know it. I think I've always kind of just took whatever is coming my way and try to make the best out of it, to be honest.
Tonight's obviously Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon. You see firsthand all the work that this team does with putting money back into this community. How rewarding is the work you guys do here?
Oh, it's huge for sure. I think anything, we always say it, I think anything can help, and to see the organization, everything they do, and try to help the community, and for us as players, obviously, anytime we get some free time, we try to help them as well. But I think all together with the community, we can do big things.
Appreciate your time and all you do in the community. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Yes, it's a special evening for more reasons than one. Yes, there's a hockey game going on. Yes, Bobby Ryan is returning to home ice for his second game back after returning from taking care of himself. But it is also Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon night, powered by Mitel, and it will continue after this. The Ottawa Senators hosting the Vancouver Canucks. The Sens hoping to snap a 4-game winless drought against the second-place Pacific team on Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon night, powered by Mitel. Standing by to inform all of us how to get involved is my buddy, Ian Mendez.
Thank you very much, Tess. I was hoping to get a word with Senators CEO Jim Little, but I think he's still on the phone. Is Chris Phillips on the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We can maybe sneak in a quick word with Chris Phillips. Now he's pretending to get on the phone. There we go. Hey, listen, Chris Phillips, we got to ask you. You had your number retired. Why is it important for you as a member of the alumni to be involved in this, Philly?
Oh, it's just an amazing night. Obviously, the Sens Foundation does so much for the entire region, and it's just a great opportunity, to make it available for people to donate, and it doesn't have to be large sums of money. Sometimes it's $5, $10, $20, but you add all that up and it makes a huge difference in a lot of people's lives.
All right, Philly, I know it was a special night for you a week ago. I appreciate you coming back here, being part of this here, and time for a little power play. I don't know if Chris Phillips got much power play time, but we're going to give Jose Guibar some power play time from Evolution. She's the CEO. Maybe you tell our viewers first, as we put the 2 minutes up, what your company does.
So we're a renewable energy company here in the region. Our head office is here. We're a Brookfield company. So we have our head office here in our communities in Ottawa and Gatineau area.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about why your company has decided to be involved with the Sens Foundation in particular.
So we've been involved with the Sens Foundation for quite some time, and we've donated to them through different means, either through sponsoring a rink, sponsoring CHEO, or giving to the Tornado Relief Fund. So we've been involved with them for some time.
Yeah, Evolution again is the sponsor here for the 2-minute power play. We're down to about a minute and change, $1.20 or so to go. So they will match your donations. Now I know, Jose, that you had an opportunity very recently to visit Roger Nielsen House, and we're going to be hearing about Roger Nielsen House here coming up in a second in a feature story. But could you just tell the people at home all about that experience and what it was like for you to walk through the doors of Roger Nielsen House on the campus of CHEO?
Yeah, the Roger Nielsen House is an incredible place. We always want to give back to organizations in our community, and when I visited it, I was moved by it, by the people who work there, their incredible passion, and you can feel it in the walls, how much comfort and service they offer to those children that come through there. So we were moved by it, and we really felt we wanted to give something special to that organization. So we are donating $50,000 to the Roger Nielsen House today.
And that is amazing, a $50,000 donation. And it just shows you the power of actually visiting in person, doesn't it? That it really resonates with you when you walk through the walls and then you come out of it and you meet some families that have been affected by Roger Nielsen House.
Yes, definitely. And meeting the employees, meeting the people there, meeting some of the children who are being serviced there, it's an incredible experience.
Jose, we really appreciate your generosity from Evolution, and the $50,000 for Roger Nielsen House is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're proud to be here.
All right, Tessa, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Jose. Well, the Roger Nielsen House is a pediatric respite and palliative care home that is dedicated to enhancing the comfort and quality of life in children and their families in a time of need. For the Berards, Roger Nielsen House has become a place that gives their family a second home.
So fun. Parker, do you think Emmett's ticklish?
Yes. Should we tickle him?
So? Should we try and see if he's ticklish? Say, Emmett. Emmett was diagnosed at 2 weeks of age with lissencephaly, which means smoothing of the brain. So his brain, when it was developing, the neurons didn't migrate properly, which has led to all of the complication that he's had.
It's the middle of January, but the Christmas tree is still up at Roger Nielsen House.
You like that one, Emmett? It's so lovely, and they're thinking about people all the time, and I think they saw this year how much Emmett really appreciated it. And one of the rec therapists was talking about having like a year-round tree with different ornaments for all the different holidays, which just shows that they're thinking about what's best for the kids, which is always what their focus is. For Emmett, he has something called cortical visual impairment, which means he doesn't see well. So things that he sees the best are things that are like lit, that are shiny or reflective, or that are moving. So the Christmas tree kind of combines all of the things that he sees the best. Yeah.
Emmett is a pretty special boy. He's 3.5 years old, and he loves things that you or I would probably not even think about in our day.
You may not think by looking at Emmett that he can see where things are, but he often feels with his feet. So he finds where all the ornaments are and kicks them all off. So he takes all the ornaments off. We had to move all the glass ornaments like up on our tree.
Yes.
And they found the same thing here. He takes all of the ornaments off.
They have a little pile of ornaments that Emmett's removed that they need to put back on the tree.
Oh, you got another one down. Yeah, you got it.
It may seem like a small gesture, but for Eric and Christy, it's just another example of how Roger Nielsen House has come to feel like home.
I remember still the first time Emmett was admitted for pain and symptom management, the only thing that would calm him down, because he and I spent so much time together in his first year of life, was me lying physically against his body in bed with him and singing to him. And I got him to fall asleep, and I was so reluctant to leave the house. And the nurses here will say, you can stay if you want to in another room. But I remember the nurse saying to me, if he really starts crying, I'll call you. Or if he wants me to lie with him, I promise I'll lie with him to calm him down. And just, it's such a different approach than a medical centered facility, which is so lovely.
That welcoming feeling is extended to the whole family. Their older son, Parker, has also benefited from this experience.
Parker sees this breadth of society that he wouldn't otherwise have seen. He sees kids that are facing some pretty big challenges in ways that he wouldn't see that in his SK class.
He's so used to like the experience of being around special needs children, he doesn't even see it as like something that's unusual. And so he would talk about things that are happening. He has little books about families with special needs children, and he sees it as so normal. And I think it's really nice for him to see other siblings who have special needs siblings. He feels very proud of Emmett, and he wants to tell you about it and how he can run his pump and he can do all the things. And he's, you know, he's very proud of his brother. Sometimes when Mommy comes to visit Emmett and she says, Parker wanted to tell you that he loves you, he just smiles just at your name. Did you know that?
Ready? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good boy. So you got your a little wet. Oh, you found her with your feet, didn't you? See, that's so fun.
You learn about what kind of life Emmett's going to have. It scares you, and I think here it feels like it's just a place of comfort. It's a place where we know that we can all come and just be ourselves. We know that Emmett is taken care of. We know that Emmett is living his best life here, and it's a huge support.
I can't imagine it not being a part of our life. No. I think it's been such a big change for us and such a big eye-opening experience, but I think regardless of whether Emmett's still using the services of the house or not, it has services that extend beyond the loss of a child to bereavement support, to family support, sibling groups, and even grandparent groups more recently. So there are things that people have told us have been extremely helpful for them, and I think that I can't really see a time when we wouldn't be involved. And really, the people who work here, we know all of them on a first-name basis. They know our entire family on a first-name basis. They know our extended family on a first-name basis. And so it's really, they've become a really important part of our lives and of Emmett's life.
And I have Emmett here with us tonight, and he's doing really well so far. He's enjoying the studio and the lights, and of course Eric and Christy and Parker and Lionel, their other little guys here. Thank you so much for all being with us today, guys. And Emmett's doing good. We were just saying that we think he likes the lights here in our studio.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when did you guys first hear about Roger Nielsen House, and when did Emmett start going?
I guess we heard about Roger Nielsen House far in advance of Emmett actually starting there. But we heard about it as a palliative care hospice, and it's a little bit of a scary idea when you have a new child. So Emmett was diagnosed when he was 2 weeks of age, and you don't want to think about your 2-week-old dying, and so it's really scary. So I think we started to come to the idea of meeting with Roger Nielsen House when he was about a year of age, and so we met with them and had a consultation, and they've been part of our life ever since.
And that was one of our messages that we wanted to help share. Is a lot of people do think of it as a scary place, but it's not necessarily.
No, it's the opposite. Yeah, it's a place of love. It's a place of caring. It's a place of play. It's really in a lot of ways our community center. It's a place where everybody is comfortable.
Oh, these guys are having fun. I love kids.
Yeah.
Parker, you want to say hi? I saw you on the video. You take care of your brother a lot, don't you? Tell us how you do that. What do you do? How do you help him?
You want to say that?
Can you tell us?
I get his nebulizer.
You do?
Yeah, he helps with equipment.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What do you like about Roger Nielsen House?
Because there's a train house.
There's a which?
A train table.
A train table? Yeah, those are very popular. Lots of fun. And outside of the Care for Emmett, you guys have also received services there too.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've received services through the Visiting Home Hospice program, which is a volunteer-based program, which has been lovely. So we have someone that actually comes to our house once a week to spend time with Emmett, give us a little bit of time to spend time with our other 2 kids, which is really lovely. And we've also taken part in the respite care there, so that's been really lovely. Emmett was part of the summer camp this past summer, and it's a very unique place because he was able to actually fully participate in summer camp. They had Harry Potter Day. He ended up in the House of Slytherin, which we were a little bit sad about, but he has a great time, and he gets to fully engage in activities that we wouldn't normally think of him participating in. He went on a field trip to Sanders Farms one time when he was there, which was so lovely. Yeah,
that's great. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing all this, sharing your story, and I know you're getting to catch the game tonight as well, and we're converting you into Sens fans, I guess.
Yes,
so we're excited about
sure.
that.
Transition.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll send it back to Tessa.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you to the Berard family for their time. The Capital City Condors represent everything we love about the game of hockey. When we come back, we find out about the special connection they have with the Ottawa Senators.
The Condors are really special to Tara and I. I was fortunate enough the summer after Kyle Turris got traded. Kyle had reached out to me and asked, give it some thought. I'd like for you to take over my role as honorary captain, and it wasn't much of a thought process for me. I was really excited to do it. I took it right away, and it's an incredible group, and Tara and I are really honored to be a part of it.
So happy you guys came, Jessica.
As we welcome you back to the Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon, powered by Mitel. Our next story is about the Capital City Condors, and fair warning, they might become your favorite hockey team. Ask anyone who's seen them play, and they're going to tell you that they are a team that leaves a lasting impact, an impact that could be seen not too long ago when Mark Borowiecki and his teammates shared the ice with them.
The Capital City Condors hit the ice 12 years ago. It started because we wanted to see these kids that we'd seen around the rink cheering everybody else on to see if we could get them some ice time and skating too. So it started with 3 kids, and we're between 130 and 140 kids now 12 years later. So it's grown far beyond what we thought it would.
Jim Perkins helped start the Capital City Condors to make hockey more inclusive. His belief that sports are for everyone is rooted in his childhood.
Wow, getting it tricky now. I grew up with a dad who was paralyzed at the age of 28. He had been a great athlete prior to that, but I spent most of my life as a kid wishing that sports could be adapted so he could still play. I think that somewhere in the back of my mind, or my heart at least, has kind of propelled this forward. To see a program like this grow the way it has, to see the way these kids are so intuitive in ways that most of the rest of us aren't. They really make us better people by being around them.
It's a special Friday morning here. Mark Borowiecki and his teammates welcome the Capital City Condors. They hit the ice at Canadian Tire Center.
The team has a strong association with the Senators, particularly with defenseman and Ottawa native Mark Borowiecki, who serves as the team's honorary captain.
It's just so fulfilling for me. I was saying earlier, I almost feel selfish. I take so much out of this too. Players are a lot of fun to be around, and the connections and relationships we made have been so cool. Jonesy, this is my buddy John. We went to school together. Yeah, we grew up together. We went to elementary school together. Ah.
Mark is such a guy of character on so many levels. But even today with, all he did was send out a quick, guys, Condors are coming to skate if you don't mind spending a few extra minutes. And as you saw, most of them stayed out for the whole time because Mark's just that kind of guy.
20-year-old Jessica Hamilton is a shining example of the benefits of this program.
Did you have a good Christmas? What's up? Awesome. I'm so happy you guys came, Jessica. So happy you're here.
Jess is just, as you've seen, one of the happiest kids you're going to come across. She's adorable to watch play on the ice. Very affectionate kid, and just a joy to be around it.
It's incredible because, the kids fall in love with these guys and they consider them friends now. Just following them around like puppy dogs almost, you know what I mean? And it was great that, most of the team stayed out with them too, and they were passing, and just incredible that they would take the time out for these kids.
I'm Brady. Nice to meet you.
It's easy to see the impact that the Capital City Condors has on everyone involved. It's a great example of what happens when community comes together. To mark the occasion, the Sens Foundation made a $20,000 donation to the team.
I'm so thankful for the support for the Sens Foundation. I think you see what ice times like this and what this team means to these players. It's a chance for them to be a part of a team and experience ice hockey and have the support of the Sens Foundation. So grateful and so thankful.
The difference that the Sens Foundation makes, not just in programs, but in people. Not just in groups of people, but in individual people. When I talk to a family about the fact that they can go to a restaurant now with all their kids, where for 10 or 11 years they couldn't because one of their children couldn't handle that kind of a social atmosphere. That happens because people give. And without that giving, that family is not making that same level of progress. So it breaks right down to individual people whose lives are being changed. And I don't know if we can say enough to encourage that.
And I have Jessica sitting next to me here, Mom and Dad, Mike and Shelley, and Jim Perkins, founder of the Capital City Condors. Thank you guys all so much for being with us tonight. And Jessica, we got to see you out there on the ice. You looked so great. Tell me what you love about being a Condor.
I love the Condor because I like like to skate.
And you're good at it. It's so cool to see you do that. Congratulations. Mom and Dad, how did you know that this was something that Jessica would love to do?
Well, she spent a lot of time in rinks her whole life because Mike plays and our youngest daughter plays competitive hockey. So we were really happy to find out about the Condors because up until then she wouldn't have had a chance to play hockey on her own. So now we all go and cheer her on just like she cheered everybody else on before that.
Jim, this is, oh, sorry, Mike.
Well, anyways, I was just going to say that, you know, the first time we went out, Jim introduced himself and he basically told me why he was doing this whole thing, and I thought it was wonderful. So.
And it's so wonderful. And Jim, I wanted to ask you, you know, there's so much more that goes into this than just renting ice and hockey equipment. Tell us a little bit about what's involved to get these kids comfortable on the ice and get them playing hockey.
We really didn't know what we were doing when we started. You know, we just wanted to get some kids out there and see if they could have some fun too. So really what we've learned is that each player brings something very unique to the mix, and it's finding the sweet spot for all of them. You know, sometimes that happens quite quickly and naturally. Sometimes it takes 7 or 8 weeks before they're feeling more comfortable on the ice, but we learn so much from them and from the families. It's pretty overwhelming sometimes.
I bet it was a little overwhelming skating with the Senators too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed really fun. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you sharing all of your stories tonight. We hope it encourages people to pick up the phone and to donate. Ian?
Yeah, and Christy, we appreciate all of your work tonight. Now your night is done, so you can put your feet up. All the pressure is off of you, and I think it goes on to your husband's shoulders as he tries to beat the Vancouver Canucks tonight here on TSN 5. So joined now by Vanessa Canoe, who's with Mitel, CFO of Mitel. Final power play of the night, and why not leave it to the title sponsor? And Vanessa commented to me as she looks over, she sees Jim Little, Todd White, and Chris Phillips holding the phone. She's like, they're using Mitel phones. How great is that?
That is really great. I mean, it's awesome. So Mitel has been proud sponsors of the Ottawa Sens Foundation for a number of years, and we provide the phones. Awesome to see all these great guys using the Mitel phones to power this telethon. We have about 30 employees here tonight supporting this great cause and volunteering, which is also great to see.
Let's talk a little bit about the Mitel presence here, and you're going to see volunteers out here tonight. And is that part of the corporate DNA, the corporate culture at Mitel to promote and encourage volunteering?
Absolutely. So Mitel, actually, a number of years ago, we started a program called Mitel Serves, which is around the anniversary of our starting date. So Mitel was born actually here in Ottawa. So even though we are today a global organization operating in almost 90 countries with 3,500 employees globally, we call Ottawa home. So we've got about 15% of our workforce here. Tonight we've got a number of volunteers. We support a number of local charities. And in addition to that, we have a very active social committee that on their own take on additional causes like United Way and so many other things, but really excited to be here, very much part of the corporate culture.
All right, and so we've got about 40 seconds to go in this final power play of this portion of the broadcast. Mitel will match your donations until that power play runs out. Vanessa Canoe is with me, CFO of Mitel. Maybe a final question to you, why you wanted to be aligned, why it's important to be aligned with the Ottawa Senators Foundation.
The Senators Foundation does such a great cause, and actually the Sens Foundation the Sens are a customer of Mitel, so it really is a win-win. This partnership really is. But everything they do for the kids in the community, from sports partnerships to mental health. As a parent myself, a mother, my 2 daughters are here today. Everything about the Sens Foundation speaks to my heart and speaks to the employees of Mitel, and this is a win-win partnership for sure.
Amazing stuff, Vanessa. Thanks for this. Thanks for the support from Mitel. Tessa, we'll send it back to you for a little update on the tally of where things stand.
Yes, thank you very much. And I got to say, I want Vanessa as my co-host next year. I'll even give you your own mic, Vanessa. Come on back over here. I'll have you with me. Nonetheless, so far, so good. Thank you to everyone who's been involved. For everyone who hasn't yet, please pick up your phone. Total so far that we have raised $23,685. Solid start, but we are not done. This will be going until the end of the hockey game, so just remember, pick up your phones, dial those numbers, text in as Ian has told you. You can even go online and buy on the 50/50, the Ottawa Senators Foundation 50/50. Plenty of ways to donate in a very special evening. We will have the Vancouver Canucks and Ottawa Senators. We'll set you up for that tilt next.